fans of high-quality entertainment. As you know, or as some of you know, I do a lot of Beatles-related videos. I have a Beatles playlist. And, you know, every day I get comments on the videos. This one was a comment on the Beatles. And it is just one sentence. Actually, it's not even a sentence because there's no period at all. It's what I would call a run-on sentence without it actually being a sentence, because like I said, there's no period at the end of it. And I'm going to try my best to read this all. And then you can let me know what you think of this person's opinion on the Beatles. Take a couple breaths. Focus. Yeah, from a guitar standpoint, I think at least for my 2 cents of it, the Beatles are the most overrated group in the history of music. I think part of it has to do with the time they showed up, because the first generation so-called rock and rollers like Elvis and Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper, those guys weren't even playing rock and roll really, but neither are the Beatles, or at least not most of that stuff. Doesn't sound like rock and roll music to me. It's just like pop music with very little guitar to me. What I think of it is rock and roll started with like Keith Richards, remembering Chuck Berry, the only first generation rock and roller to me that even matters. Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, of course, the legendary Led Zeppelin, but to me that's rock and roll. Black Sabbath, but not the freaking Beatles. That was media push garbage that should be cast into the dustbin of history, and that's besides the fact that John Lennon told an entire generation there is no God. I mean, he's the sleaziest one of them all, and that whole group pretty much sucked, and you can't even convince me that this guy that's running around acting like Paul McCartney is even Paul McCartney. That's Billy Shears, the real Paul McCartney, either retired or died in a car wreck. But whatever it is, the Beatles just suck. They always have. I had a best friend when I was a teenager that played that stuff constantly. It was like an iron hand on a chalkboard to my ears. Awful songs, this stupid. And I'm thinking, how did they turn into anything? And I'm thinking the real reason is because most of the people that were buying that garbage in the early 60s were high on marijuana and LSD when they went into the record store, because that's the only thing that explains any Beatle phenomenon whatsoever. They're the dumbest group ever. I respect Elvis more, and I can't stand Elvis. But I totally agree with everything he said about the Beatles, because the only reason I got into the Beatles was back in, it was 1964, when I was 6 years old, and I took some LSD, and I was just right into the Beatles music from then, and I'm still a fan now, thanks to LSD and a touch of marijuana on the side. Thank you. Have a great day.